my word, what an afternoon on Tyneside as it finished Newcastle United 2, Manchester United 0. I'm driving back home. It's my first thoughts, quick thoughts on the game ahead of a full review tomorrow, which will be up on the channel. But yeah, absolutely buzzing with that. A great performance, a great atmosphere. No case of a smash and grab, sit back, park the bus, nothing like that. Newcastle United were worthy winners. It could and it should have been a much more, higher scoreline. We should have had at least 4 or 5 goals today. It was one of those sort of performances. We blew them out of the water with heart, with guts, with determination, with planning, with desire, teamwork, you name it. We had it fucking all. And yeah, the only question, the only slight negative is how the hell did we not stuff these by another couple of goals, because it should have been. But yeah, that was exactly what the doctor ordered, and we finish Sunday in 3rd position in the Premier League. And it's April, it's at the beginning of the season. It's not some sort of crazy thing where the league hasn't settled itself down. We are balls deep into this thing, and we are in 3rd position. We're the best of the rest after and outside of the title race. Newcastle United are the best team out at the moment outside of that, and with momentum, with passion from the Terracin, even if I can pronounce it. My voice is barely hanging in at this point. But with everything just so in tune and as one in a totally united front, we just look at this point unstoppable. There is a series of very difficult, challenging away games coming up now for the lads to be able to get past. But playing this sort of football with disbelief, with the manager, with everybody rowing in the same direction, anything is currently possible at Newcastle United, and you wouldn't put it past us to go out there and to follow it up with, again, extra wins. And I'm just absolutely and utterly flabbergasted, because I thought to a man we were fantastic. A few eyebrows were probably raised at the beginning of the game. An unchanged team. Joe Linton on the bench. You had Callum Wilson, Anthony Gordon. It was a really, really strong bench, and we've not been able to say that at times this season, and that has been probably our Achilles heel at times. But today, I thought the entire team, the entire squad, everything looked good, and we were able to make good changes in the second half and really turn the screw. Meanwhile, Eric Ten Hag, it looked like he was sort of overseeing a fucking crash when they were all sitting there rolling on the floor like fucking 2 and 3-year-olds. It was embarrassing from them, it really was. They didn't turn up, they weren't at the races, they didn't have the heart, the desire, and they can come out and say that they've got the better players, this, that and the other, but the gap isn't what it used to be. Because, before, in previous seasons, it's been like the fucking Titanic. It's been like Mount Everest, the gap in between the clubs. But we are on such a rapid incline. And like I touched on before, the entire club is in unity. We've not got these issues where they've got Norwich scarves out every other week as soon as they don't get a victory 5-0 or something like that. We haven't got that. We've got that positive energy and momentum. We've got the points, up to 50 points, and we've actually, we've beaten our total of the entirety of last season. And we've still got 11 games or so left to play this campaign. Absolutely fantastic. The football is great, really, really entertaining. I thought we were back to being, fantastic and solid again. I think that's the first time we've scored 2-headed goals since we played Wigan and drew 2-2 with them. But yeah, I thought the defence was great. I thought Manchester United rode their luck. I was saying to Kyle at the game, they've had more jam than bastard Hartleys, this lot. It was beyond a joke at times. And I just couldn't believe that we hadn't stuck one of our many chances away. And the only thing that kept biting away at me was, will this bite us in the arse? Will this come back to haunt us? But no, it was never in doubt all the way through the game as far as I'm concerned. And as soon as we got our noses ahead, and it was great little build-up play before the goal was scored, I said, perfect scenario, now we get a second goal, we'll kill the game off. And I said, hopefully that'll come from Callum Wilson, because, you know, we're talking about players who need maybe a little bit of a confidence boost. So I was like, yeah, it would be great if Callum Wilson got amongst the goals. You always want your strikers to be, you know, in the prime, in the pomp, playing confidently. So him coming on and getting that second goal will do him the world of good. And we're going to need every single body available to be able to, you know, see this through, to see this out, and to hopefully get Champions League football. Remember, the pressure is not on us. The pressure is massively on the likes of Manchester United, who are literally right on the seat of the FFP, with huge bills, huge debts, just under £1 billion worth of debts on the football club, and everything else. The pressure is on the likes of Spurs to finance and, you know, cover the payments for the new stadium and so on and so forth. You've got Turkey Teeth, Klopp and all them as well, who would have been desperate to get in. But, you know, we play without the pressure, without that added weight and expectation on. You know, yes, of course we want the lads to finish in the Champions League spots. We want to dream about going to the, you know, the creme de la creme of European competition and testing ourselves, you know, on that stage. But the pressure isn't there for us. You know, this would be at least 3 years ahead of PIF's plan, you know, to be able to put the club back on the map. So regardless to whatever we do during this campaign from here on in, it's been a great season. We got to a cup final, we played some great football, we're entertaining the fans. Everything is rosy in our garden, and it's great, fantastic, no matter what competition we finish in. But there is every chance and every possibility that we will be in the Champions League. And, you know, your Spurs and your Liverpools and your Manchester Uniteds can crow about the fact that they have got better players. There's been times that we've been relegated and we've had better players than everybody else around us, and it was more down to the team ethic and the unity that's been the issue, and it's been the problem and the reason that we've gone down and that other teams have stayed up. Newcastle now is an amazing cohesive unit, and Eddie Howe is getting decision after decision right. There will have been scratched heads about the team news unchanged. A lot of people were like St. Maximum after the first half, despite the fact obviously he played injured. But again, to a man, I thought they were all fantastic. Jacob Murphy, I mean, you're talking about, and again, I've heard Manchester United fans on the radio on the way back down complaining that they've spent the money, they've done this, that and the other. Look at players like Joe Linton, look at players like Jacob Murphy. These are players who weren't even getting anywhere near, you know, the team really. And certainly in the case of Jacob Murphy, when Bruce was here, he looked awful. He didn't look like a footballer. But now he's playing in a system, he's got his strengths, he's working through his strengths, and, you know, the system, the machine, the Newcastle United armoury is built up to be able to get the best out of every single player, including the likes of Jacob Murphy. Thought Jacob Murphy again was fantastic. Touched upon before, the defence back to its solid best. We hadn't kept a clean sheet in about 8 games or so to keep one today will be particularly satisfying to the entire defence. It'll give the likes of Nick Pope definitely a confidence boost as well moving forward as we do. So yeah, all over, absolutely fantastic. Get to the midfield three, and obviously I was a little bit surprised Joe Linton didn't come back in. But again, you can't fault them. Willock has been absolutely unfucking believable. Bruno is different gravy. He is one of the best midfielders that I've ever seen pull that black and white shirt on. He is fantastic. Some of the touches, beating players, his passion, his desire, he's wearing his heart on his sleeve. He's bought into everything about the Newcastle United project. Sean Longstaff, got some shots away, put himself about. He covers every inch of grass on the park. And then, like I say, St Maximin lost the ball at one point for one particular move, and you know, he's really, really trying his absolute damnedest. He got up rather than sulking or complaining about another terrible referee decision or whatever. He got up and he chased back and stuck in an absolutely fantastic tackle. And I thought, if that's not the sign of the progress that's been made under Eddie Howe, with all sorts of different players from different parts of the world, different systems, different philosophies and all that sort of thing, then I don't know what is. You know, seeing St Maximin tackle back, seeing St Maximin looking to pass to bring other people in and not just sort of running down a cul-de-sac as it were and as it was before, is fantastic. It's great to see the burden of responsibility spread out amongst the entire team and not literally sitting back and parking the bus and relying on a moment of magic from the likes of Alan St Maximin to get us a victory, to get us a point or whatever. You know, it's not how it used to be under the old regime, the Bacon regime that we used to have. Everybody is contributing. Everybody is fully for the team, and again I thought Isaac led the line fantastically well. I thought he did a great job. Thought he was unlucky as well. Particular shout out to Fabian Schär. He was getting knocked about literally from pillar to post, and there was a worry that he'd have to come off, but he didn't want to sort of let anybody down, didn't want to let the side down. He just patched himself up, and away we go again. And he really does again epitomise that spirit. And if you're looking at things, and again coming back to players that Bruce discarded and thought wasn't good enough, then certainly the likes of Fabian Schär epitomises that mantra and shows that it's not just all about writing rather large cheques for players like many, many, many other clubs have done. Look at Chelsea, fucking 11th, despite spending how many hundreds of millions of pounds and financing their future and financing and riding so close to FFP and so on and so forth. Look at Everton that have done something very, very similar. We are marrying up players who are just giving up. We've worked with those players, the coaches have worked with those players, and they have made them better players than what they were. They've worked on the weaknesses rather than just complain and sign players, and we have joined that up with some really clever, astute, fantastic signings. I think Isaac, for the money that we paid for him, is looking every single time more and more like the absolute bargain of the century, and he probably would be classed as the bargain of the century if it wasn't for the likes of Joe Linton. This man, he couldn't hit the side of a bastard barn door previously. Man management, arm around him, change of squad number, new position, and now he's able to cover in umpteen different places, and he's bought into the mentality, he's bought into the mindset, he's born into the master plan, and everybody is laser focused. It's just a thing of absolute fucking beauty, and like I touched on at the beginning of this, to see Ten Hag, who's done nothing but bitch and moan, maybe that will teach him a little bit of humility. Maybe he will learn to keep his absolute mouth shut. Concentrate on your own team, your own tactics, your own players who didn't put anywhere near a shift in the day. They didn't get, if they got shots on target, they were virtually pass backs. They got none of that whatsoever. And the Manchester United fans were sneaking out well before the end of the game. And it feels like a little bit of justice over what happened, at the League Cup final and stuff like that. But this could be a lot bigger for the future. It's going to allow us, if we do get Champions League, to supercharge the progression of the football club and to push it forward even further. With greater finances coming in, we will be able to do more, improve more facilities. I mean, the fantastic work that's gone on behind at the training centre, extra staff coming in, extra analysts, just to give the players every opportunity to pull out these fantastic results like they have done today. So it's credit to everybody at the football club, it really is. It was great listening to the banter from the likes of Dan Byrne, who was saying, look, we love, Geordie loves a win over Manchester United. I said before, and they are the club I love to hate. No Sunderland in the league. It's always the team that you just want to do one over. That everything that I hate about the modern fickle fan who just changes from club to club, has no connection to the area, to the city, to the football club. Proper touristy type supporters all over the place. And I just thought today the atmosphere, and I must point this out, from before the game even kicked off through to the 95th minute, was fantastic. Arguably the best atmosphere this season at St James's Park. The flags were getting waved, war flags, amazing again, amazing displays before the game had even started. And then the fans all the way through, they were singing literally for like 99.9% of that game. There was singing, there was chants, there was support for the lads, and it is just great to see. Long may this continue. We've got a difficult week coming up, no doubt about it. The fixture computer hasn't been kind to us, but look, we head to the likes of West Ham and Brentford, certainly with the greatest of respect, but no fear. We go into these games with no fear. We'll have the plan that's available to us. We're going to have again a strong bench, and that is going to be absolutely massive, because every player over these next few weeks, with the games coming as thick as Ten Hag's fucking comments about Newcastle United, with the games coming that thick and fast, every player is going to get minutes. And even, like I say, even Elliot Anderson coming on towards the end, coming out, that extra burst of energy and pace just when we need it. I thought the substitutions from the Newcastle United sides were absolutely fantastic. Not so great for Manchester United, and their fans are absolutely whining like little bitches on the radio. They'll have the Norwich scarves out, no doubt about it. It'll be fucking Ten Hag out if they lose the next game as well, won't it? I think they play Brentford, don't they, as we play West Ham, and then obviously we go on then to play Brentford afterwards. They'll be sitting there with the scarves and Glazers out and Ten Hag out and fucking Tea Lady out and everybody else out that they can blame and get away with. But top and bottom of it, and I think any honest Manchester United supporters, if there is such a thing, would admit that Newcastle United thoroughly deserved the 3 points, and they deserve to be where they are in the tail. Only 3 defeats all season, 2 of those coming against Turkey Teeth and Liverpool, and 1 under very, very shady circumstances. Obviously the other defeat against Manchester City, which was a particularly close game. So Newcastle United, grafting, putting a shift in, difficult to beat. There was an issue before with scoring goals, and we slowly but surely starting to turn that around. Callum Wilson as well today. Joe Willock, fantastic. You're running out of superlatives to describe his performances recently, but again, it's probably the benefit of having players of the likes of Bruno Guimaraes beside you, and that rubbing off and stuff like that. Thought Anthony Gordon was great when he came on, and just some of the trickery and the running and the skills. I think again during the second half as well, I think it was Willock. He ran about 10 yards and he was sitting there doing headers to himself as he ran forward. Fucking Geordie boys taking the piss. I fucking love it. Absolutely wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. But I want to digest this a little bit more, and we will be back with a full review of the game yesterday. No doubt I'll have watched it back 100 times in between then and now. Myself and Carl will be back on the channel with the proper review of today's game. Like I said, this is just my drive home thoughts, instant reactions, but yeah, delight on Tyneside, misery probably throughout the rest of the UK, because that's where the rest of their fans come from down south and the likes. So yeah, there'll be misery from for those. They've still, both Manchester United and Newcastle United are probably in the box seat at the moment. Newcastle United with those games in hand as well. Spurs in a pickle. without a manager, they will be sitting uncomfortably, and it'll be an uncomfortable game tomorrow. Think about that. Spurs and Everton. Who do you want to lose that? Do you want Everton to win? Do you want Spurs to win? Do you want to see Everton lose and maybe get dragged into the relegation zone? Or is it a case of just maximising Newcastle United situation, taking Everton win, and that sees Spurs blow another game, another opportunity? Let me know what you think about that down below. What did you think about the team news before it came out, before the game came out? Were you a little bit surprised? Would you have made changes? And how do you feel about things towards the end of the game? But I just thought that was a fantastic 10 out of 10 type performance. Can't fault anybody. Can't fault the substitutions. Can't fault the manager, the coaches, anything at all. And it's just one of them lessons about karma biting you in the ass. Definitely. So yeah, back tomorrow. But in the meantime, subscribe to Magpie 24/7. Click like on the video. And we'll have lots of other content over the rest of our social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are literally everywhere these days. Thank you for your continued support. Goodness me. European nights next season, boys and girls. My voice isn't going to hold out much longer, I don't think. So in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.